How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William.
We're talking about planet Mars. That's right, Mars. And we're talking about apple trees on planet Mars. There were many fruit trees on Mars. And there was also rivers, lakes, and even oceans that were filled with fish, like ancient sardines. There were lizards, snakes, and turtles on the land, and also civilizations. But Mars had a lot of greed and evil and darkness, along with a lot of good, and even holy. But over time came the war machines, biological warfare, technology warfare, industrial warfare, chemical warfare, and even spiritual warfare. And all of this led to the ending times on Mars. Very similar to where darkness and evil wants ending times to come to planet Earth. The free will of humankind is strong. And as more people see the light of truth down here on Earth, ending times is delayed. But as the tide keeps changing as the years go on, the script flips over and over again, and more wars begin, and we quickly head through the book of Revelation. Fasten your seatbelts, strap yourself in, hang on for the ride. We're talking about Mars. At one point in time, Mars was a thriving planet. But just like on planet Earth, greed for land and resources always dominate. We've had wars on planet Earth for centuries. Spiritual wars over religion. Wars because of land grabs. Wars because of ego. And the fight for power has always existed for centuries. And history keeps on repeating itself. And the battle between the light and the darkness continues. Good leaders and the free will of humankind can delay ending times. But as the decades go on, good leaders can come and go, and bad leaders can come and go. And this is part of what exhibits light and darkness. Bad leaders help bring us closer to the quickening, and good leaders slow us down to the quickening of the ending times. But either way, just like in the book of Revelation, something happens. And we finally get to a place where everything just falls apart. Is it possible that on planet Mars, they had their own book of Revelation? Or was it the first book of Revelation? The book of Revelation? There was life there. There were civilizations. There was good, and no doubt there was evil. And an ending times fell on planet Mars. Nuclear waste, chemical warfare, and everything living became dead. And that's why the planet has that red color. In the King James Version, there are connections to the red planet, Mars. If your eyes are open, you'll see them. They're there. Revelation 6, verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Revelation 6, verse 16. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Just like here on Earth, underground living spaces are being created. The Illumination is creating sanctuaries where they have supplies for 100 years or more, resources that they can grow, aquatic life that they can farm, all while underground and partially above ground. These hidden kings of the earth that are not in the public light are building their sanctuaries because they know something is eventually coming because they're partly responsible for creating that. And it is prophesied and it is seen in Book of Revelation. 6 verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Now I repeated that verse because this has already happened. It's not just occurring now and in the future here on Earth. It already occurred. It already happened on planet Mars. Because the kings of Mars, and the great men of Mars, and the rich men of Mars, and the chief captains of Mars, and the mighty men of Mars, and every bondman and every freeman on Mars, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains in Mars. Underground taverns, underground caves, where they stored resources and had a way to survive for at least a certain period of time, when ending times came to planet Mars. This is also why the book of Revelation could be much, much older than we believe. For certain, the prophecy of John is much, much older. Now, Mars once had different creatures that are similar to the creatures we have here, many seemingly identical, but many also far different. Now, there are sightings here on Earth. People have seen different beasts here in the Appalachian Mountains, or, for example, like the deep woods of Ohio. One common sighting is a hairy beast, stands on 2 feet, and has the face of a human. In the book of Revelation 4, verse 7, and the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. Now, all of these creatures have been seen here on Earth within the last few hundred years. And now with technology and everybody having a camera and a recording device, we're seeing more and more sightings of these creatures. Now, the prophecy of these creatures is in the book of Revelation. And these creatures could be some of the last creatures standing during ending times here on Earth, especially since they're supernatural. Now, no doubt on planet Mars, these same creatures existed, and this prophecy could be a lot older than just here on Earth. In the book of Revelation, you'll read about various different kinds of beasts. There are also powerful words about horses, and there are war machines and talk about kings and great men. The book of Revelation talks about angels, and of course, God, and even Jesus Christ. Now, during ending times, only these powers will still exist, which are kings, horses, aliens, beasts, war machines, angels, God, and eventually Jesus. Cars are not going to be able to work anymore. Computers aren't going to be able to work anymore. Computer databases are going to be rendered useless. The electrical grid is going to die. Our technology is going to be disabled, except for the war machines, powered by darkness, aliens with evil intentions, and the evil men on this planet that let this happen. Revelation 9. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. 9 verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Now, what we are reading is a star that fell from heaven. And what that star is a great spaceship. It's a starship with great power. And this starship lands on the earth with a powerful force. And this starship was massive. It had what seemed like a bottomless pit. That means the hull on this starship was huge. It was massive. So massive, it harbored something. It was filled with something. Revelation 9, verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. This scripture is revealing that something came out of the spaceship, the starship. And what that something was locusts with great power. But these aren't just little locust bugs, insects. These are much more than that. Revelation 9, verse 4. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. This prophecy is saying that these weren't locusts that feed off of anything on the earth. Locusts like to eat things that are green. They're insects. But these weren't instructed to eat anything green, not a tree, grass, or any leaves, because these weren't locusts. Revelation 9, verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. Now these locusts weren't angels. And Revelation 9 says, And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. An angel instructed by God called upon a starship inhabited by an alien warrior working for God. Revelation 9, verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. This verse is very important. The locusts were instructed to torture certain men that were not respectful to God. And even though they wanted to die because the torture was that severe, they could not. They had to sit and bear the torture. Now this next verse is very important. 9, verse 7. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. 9, verse 8. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. These locusts were warriors, sent by God and called upon by the angel. They arrived in a great starship. It had a bottomless bottom in the ship, and it was filled with many warriors, locust warriors, alien warriors from another planet. They had hair like women, they had teeth like lions, and they had faces of men. Revelation 9, verse 9. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. These warriors, alien warriors, were protected. They were armed, and they had powerful wings. And they flew, but they were not angels. Revelation 9, verse 10. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. These alien creatures, sent there by God, called upon by God's angel, had an ability where they had a weapon on them. That weapon was this tail-like structure, and it stung men, and it hurt them 5 months. During ending times, there are kings, horses, aliens, beasts, war machines, angels, and God. Angels are listening to God. They're taking God's orders. They're summoning starships sent by God. These starships are filled with aliens, dressed in war attire, able to fly, are in great numbers, and out to torture men of great power that have no respect for God, and are responsible for the ending times. And this is why these kings and these great men run for the hills and try to hide underground in the mountains. But did this already happen? Did John prophesize what was already prophesized? Did this already happen on another planet, the planet Mars? Did John prophesize what already happened on Mars, and it's going to happen here on Earth? Or is the book of Revelation much older, and John was on Mars? Or is it just for our planet here, Earth? Mars was once a beautiful planet. It had trees, grass, herbs, beautiful animals, insects, bees, flowers, sweet rain, pure snow, beautiful sun, rivers, lakes, oceans, thriving with fish, until it was fished out over time, and strong horses. Mars had homes, buildings, structures, statues, village squares, great parks, streets, electricity, but Mars also had what Earth has: missiles, bombs, something similar to the nuclear disasters we have here, nuclear warheads, tanks, warships, armies, greed, and evil men. Mars had a lot of brackish water, combination of salt and fresh. The creatures in the oceans and the rivers and the lakes were diverse. Mars had the mermaids that we see here from time to time, and Mars had the aquatic monsters like Nessie and other ones that are seen here too on planet Earth. Mars had beautiful fruit trees, just like our apple trees here, but Mars had similar struggles. The monetary system on Mars was just as devious and corrupted as the monetary system here on Earth is. And there were different minerals on Mars that were greatly mined. This mining process released a lot of dangerous gases that were deep within Mars, far under the surface. Those gases being released caused problems with the air on Mars, over time making Mars hard to breathe. As time went by, Mars was losing its oxygen supply, even before the great ending times, the Great Wars. But not only was Mars losing oxygen, Mars was losing fresh water. The rapid temperature changes on Mars would actually evaporate water. So people on Mars, civilizations on Mars, would trade precious minerals, and rare crystals for water. Alien races would come and set up camp and mine Mars. In return, they would provide water, fresh water. Even though the atmosphere was getting worse, oxygen was thinning out because gases, foreign gases, were rising into the atmosphere. Closer to ending times, food was getting scarcer. Primary diet on Mars was not cows like here on Earth. It was reptiles, turtles, snakes, lizards, and different kinds of fish. But eventually the lakes, the rivers, and the streams, and the oceans were getting fished out. And the food demand for alien races coming and mining precious minerals was getting greater. The people on Mars would set up massive rain barrels. Anytime it rained, it was a gift from God. And the people on Mars believed in God and even angels. Having a supply of rainwater was how they got by a lot. The roof of the homes, the dwellings on Mars, were made of metal, but not made of steel. The metal was malleable. It reflected the sun when the heat was on, but also created insulation from when the sun was down and the cold was on. There was genocide on Mars, especially towards ending times. Then there was disease and illness. And there were beautiful animals and beautiful nature, sunsets and sunrises, and different civilizations that lived on Mars. There were chemical industries, biochemical warfare, greed, and even beautiful countryside at one time. But Mars became a wasteland, and we here on planet Earth should learn from it. But from what the book of Revelation says, we most likely don't. In the book of Revelation 13, a beast was seen rising up out of the sea. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now, anytime you see beast in the Bible, especially in this verse and in the book of Revelation, you think Beelzebub, Satan. But this verse has many meanings. During ending times, there's going to be technology, war machines, that aren't just like submarines, where it's a round canister underwater. Instead, an underwater device with 7 heads and 10 horns, able to shoot rockets and even lasers, all in the name of evil, blasphemy. Machines that are created to go against God and even destroy holy land. Machines so powerful and so great, and yet machines that don't send out nukes. But yet, because of the destruction that these machines are causing, it prompts a nuclear war, the first nuclear war on planet Earth, prophesized in Revelations. But this already was prophesized a long, long time ago. And these war machines were on planet Mars. They were seen before by what was left of civilizations. These machines were witnessed by 144,000, but not here on Earth, instead on planet Mars. And these war machines were so great and powerful that they can walk out of the ocean and onto the land. When it comes to ending times here on Earth, it isn't only just going to be humans involved. Additionally, there are going to be aliens working with humans, possessed by great evil, controlling and destroying the planet. So in Revelation 13, when it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." That's the prophecy of a war machine here on Earth that will walk out of water, and then an alien creature will exit, and this is what will be seen. Book of Revelation 13, verse 2. "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." That's a prophecy of a creature like alien that exited the great war machine. The people on the planet worshipped this great war machine. They had to. They had no choice during ending times. And they worshipped the beast that came out of the war machine, and that was protected by the war machine. Meanwhile, all of this already happened on planet Mars. 13, verse 3. "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." Now remember, the book of Revelation and all the verses within have many meanings. Now the creature, the alien, the beast that came from this war machine had a great wound. And this beast was not God, nor was this beast Jesus Christ. And this wound on the head of this beast was miraculously healed in front of many witnesses. Now this next verse is very important. 13, verse 4. "And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" In this verse, the people, the witnesses, and whom saw, worshipped the dragon. The dragon was the great machine, the great war machine that rose out of the sea. Book of Revelation 13. "And everyone believed that this great war machine, which they called the dragon, gave power to that creature, the beast. And since that creature, alien, the beast, miraculously healed a massive head wound, or healed a head that was dead, every witness, everyone around, believed who can make war with him or the machine, the great dragon." 13, verse 5. "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. 13, verse 6. "And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven." This beast, this alien creature, protected by this great war machine that rose out of the sea, and who has healed a great head wound in front of witnesses, is showing these witnesses that this creature is above God himself and is more powerful than God. As we move to 13, verse 11, we see that there is another beast involved. If these beasts were Satan, then there wouldn't be 2 of them. There would only be one. That's why there are many meanings within this prophecy. 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So here we are, we have another beast coming up out of the earth. 13, verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So here we have another beast with immense power to force everyone witnessing to worship the first beast who had the deadly wound that was healed. So here we have a dragon coming out of the sea with many heads and many horns, which is really a great war machine. Then we have a beast and then another beast, which are alien-type creatures, which at the point when we come to ending times would not be unusual. And this prophecy is for Earth, but yet may have already happened once before on planet Mars. And history is going to repeat itself, and God and Christ are going to intervene in the final hours. I hope you're enjoying this series, Life on Mars, and how old is the book of Revelation? I know that many people in the medical medium community are struggling with chronic illness. They don't feel well, and every day is a fight to move forward and heal. And many people are on Mattress Island and Couch Island, and it can be very tiresome working on the healing process. So I'm hoping that while working on your healing process, you can listen to the Medical Medium podcast, and maybe episodes like Life on Mars can help pass the time while you're healing. If you're somebody that just came across the Medical Medium information or this podcast, check out the Medical Medium book series. Millions of copies have gone around the world and have helped countless people heal. It's advanced information that works and has a track record of helping people rise out of the ashes and into the light of healing. If you get a chance, check out Life-Changing Foods, the expanded edition. And if you haven't heard, give a listen to Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools, an original audio you can find on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Make sure you get on the Medical Medium newsletter so you can keep up on upcoming events. And check out medicalmedium.com. Nothing but free information, no subscription fees, endless recipes that are helpful for healing, and profound, incredible, advanced information on how to heal. Many blessings, and God bless you. Yeah, I know, we just made it down to Mars. We're here. We're the first humans ever to get down to Mars. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure we're the first humans. We have to be. I know. That journey took, what was it, 3.5 years? I don't even know what it was anymore. It could have been 100 years for all I know. Time and space, I don't know how it really works. Yeah, you're gonna have to ask. Tim, he's the guy that knows all that stuff. He's coming off the ship now. Yeah, okay. It's tumbleweed. That's what's going by here. It's windy. It's dusty. Take off your mask. Oh my God. I can breathe a little bit. And there's a little bit of oxygen. Just put your mask back on. There's gravity too. It's intense. I can't really walk. It feels like so weird. There's gravity, but I'm not sure what kind of gravity. We have to be reporting this immediately. How are we going to set camp up? I don't know, but we'll take it one moment at a time, 1 hour at a time. But what's an hour here on Mars? Do you know what time it really is here? Is it afternoon? Is it morning? We have to figure this out. There's a lot to do. Anyway, what was that? That's a creature. It's a small creature. Oh, don't touch it. You know what happened. You know what happens. Like in the Alien movie, you just don't touch. Don't touch anything here that we don't know isn't anything. Okay, all right. If someday it's ever possible to send humans to planet Mars, to make that long trip, that long journey, that takes years, and to land on the red planet, set up camp, and explore. What they will see are old ruins of an ancient existence. Old statues, old burnt-out war machines, tanks, old rubble from buildings, old metal, old metallic space junk and garbage, and skeletons and old bones of ancient people, ancient animals, and ancient creatures. And if we had the technology to do forensics, and the equipment and the machinery to dig, we would find a vast amount of knowledge and evidence and artifacts. And that's only if the creatures that are on planet Mars now, that are alive, that have adapted and survived, would let us. They may not be so kind. They may see us as menaces, and they may not trust us. And the ones that still live underground on Mars and rarely surface when the weather permits may not be so friendly, may not be so kind to us explorers. The red planet may be a wasteland of dust and wind, but there still is a spark that is growing. There still is some alien life forms and some creatures, even similar to the creatures in the woods here on Earth. The pictures we see on Mars now are corrupt, they're shadowed, they're hazed. We are kept from seeing what's really on Mars. We're kept from seeing the remains of civilizations. The truth is coming out, it's on its way. But most importantly, can we learn something from what happened on Mars? Can we learn about Mars and its ending times? Can we see we're heading there all the same? One thing's for sure, God is watching. God is watching.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.